Sup, cunts? Let's talk about some creepy fucking shit. Imagine, for a moment, Mark Zuckerberg going up to the government of your country and going, hey, I've got an idea, which, never a good sign. So he goes ahead and says, look, we're going to take all the information that we gathered about your citizens on Facebook and we're going to assign each of them a score. And then, the higher the score they have, they'll get cool advantages in life, like easier visas, they'll be able to apply for loans better, and maybe they'll get a check at the end of the month from the government, who knows? Now, the governments, being interested of course, go, what exactly influenced this score? First, we're going to take a look at what they post. If they post things we like, score goes up. If they post things that go against our narrative, score goes down, of course. Then we're going to take a look at their likes. Like American Sniper? Great, score goes up, we like that film too. Like V for Vendetta? We're not exactly fans, so your score goes down. Then we're going to take a look at who they're friends with, right? If they have friends who like to listen to mindless pop music, fantastic, bump up that score. If they have other friends who like to listen to thought-provoking or maybe even remotely subversive things, well, unfortunately, the score's gonna go down. And of course, we have to show them who is dragging their scores up and down so they can go to the low scorers and tell them, hey, maybe you should like better things, like I do. Or they just block them because after all, they shouldn't be associating with toxic people like that, should they? Then we call our corporate friends. Everything gets factored into the score, right? What purchases you make on Amazon, who you follow on Twitter, things you search on Google, videos you watch on YouTube. Everything gets factored in. And then if someone partakes in an activity we don't like, their score goes down. And not only do they lose many advantages in life, but also their friends will start blocking them and going away, because after all, they would be hurt by being associated with someone with a low score. Then we make an app for your phone, and of course the GPS is turned on so we can know if you're hanging out with a lot of low score people in the physical world, because that's gonna hurt your score. If you live in a neighborhood with a lot of low score people, well, that's less points for you. If you are employed by or employ someone with a low score, well, also, the number goes down. I think we're seeing a pattern here, right? If that sounds like something out of an episode of Black Mirror, well, it kinda is, but it's also a reality in one of my favorite countries in the world. And by that I mean one of my least favorite countries in the world. It is, of course, the glorious nation that had the brilliant idea of the word, which is why you can't talk about all the going on there, because it's making the topic of effectively double. If you're a bit slow, we're talking about China. China. Everyone's favorite People's Republic has been working hard to make this a reality since 2015, and they've been collaborating with the Chinese equivalents of all the aforementioned corporations and others to make a little something called Sesame Credit, which is essentially a social media app that is supposed to gamify towing the party line. It works almost exactly the way I described earlier, and it is the most fucked up shit I've seen in the last hour. I mean, come on, I'm on the internet. There's a lot of fucked up shit here. The whole thing will be mandatory for all citizens of China in the year 2020, except people in Hong Kong and Macau, because of course those two do have some semblance of independence from Beijing. Talk about a 5-year plan, innit? I have this list from Business Insider, so we can learn a little more about people with a low score, or as the Chinese government puts it, breakers of social trust. You won't be considered for public office. That one's pretty straightforward. It's to keep the ranks of the government, the bureaucracy, clean of anyone who could possibly become a massive fucking asset to any potential insurgents. Because imagine if you have someone working in government who's against the government. I mean, the benefits of that for any rebel movement are obvious. You'll lose access to social security and welfare. this is the most fucked up one, I think, personally, because it kind of encourages the bottom tier of society to just accept their fate, lest it become worse. This is a pretty effective way of stifling insurgency if it chooses to go wide instead of tall, right? And also, eventually, if you have a low score, you'll be forced to become a criminal to feed your family, which would probably make it a lot easier to put you in prison. You'll be frisked more thoroughly when passing through Chinese customs. Kinda implies that wealthier people won't be frisked as thoroughly, which, make no mistake, the people with higher scores will be the wealthier people. And essentially you create a double standard of law enforcement for people who have money and people who don't have money. You'll be shut out of senior positions in the food and drug sector. These are some of China's biggest and most important domestic industries, and not only does this ensure that the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor, but also you don't want someone with insurgent sympathies to be in control of medicine and food if you're an authoritarian state. You won't get a bed in overnight trains. It's just an obvious, look, this is the good people, this is the bad people. It's an insult to injury type of thing, so people don't even associate with you on the train. Because if you're not sleeping in the bed, probably not a good idea to talk to you. You'll be shut out higher start hotels and restaurants and will be rejected by travel agents. Yeah, this is also in line with the whole simplified papers when you have higher scores, because it's a nightmare to travel out of China bureaucratically. And it's also pretty much this, yeah, we're going to create a two-class society at this point where you have these places that are for the higher start people and these places that are for just the plebs, which are a completely separate class. And if you are somewhat wealthy and a dissident with dissident views, well then you'll get ostracized simply because you can't access the same high-class restaurants. Because, make no mistake, that shit is where business goes down. Your children won't be allowed into more expensive private schools. Makes sense, of course. They're trying to take the children of wealthy dissidents, make sure they can properly indoctrinate them, and also ensure that they don't get the same chances as those government-friendly aristocrats, shall we call them. And of course, if your parents are dissidents, there's a good to fair chance that they'll pass that on to you, so we have to make sure that you don't get the same chances as everybody else, because we wouldn't want smart dissidents now, would we? This is not all of the fucked up shit that can happen to you with a low Sesame credit rating, but you could probably see the general trend here, right? China is trying to create a solidified upper caste of government-friendly nobility by offering them an array of faux freedoms in exchange for their actual freedom. I mean, not that people are particularly free in China. And also, this has the added benefit of starving and containing potential pockets of dissidence and insurgency, because people will just not associate with those people, so the government doesn't have to lift a finger, right? It's just the dangerous ideas are exterminated. They can't propagate without any work, because it's the people who are going to not want to associate with people who think with the brain. Do you have any idea how fucked up this is? How disgusting, how insidious too, right? Using modern technology and complete surveillance, the Chinese government, which is a bunch of reprehensible scumfucks to the last man, will be able to destroy any chances the Chinese people have at ever being free ever. We all know nobody's gonna invade China to bring democracy to them, and the only source of opposition that the regime has to worry about comes from inside, because more and more people in China are waking up to the superior Western concepts of individualism, democracy, freedom, independence, or all that jazz, and they like it. And yes, I do say superior Western ideas because I believe it. These ideas are simply superior. No other culture has ever produced anything better. That's why anyone in the world, no matter where they are from, will adopt these ideas, because it is the best thing for them and they know it. But with Sesame credit, the Chinese government may have very well found a way to stop change from the inside happening forever, because technology is not going to get any worse, right? And that's beyond terrifying. This is why I believe that China needs to be ended. I have this book called How to Be a Dystopian Hellhole, a self-improvement guide for the budding authoritarian state. And the only thing in there is be more like the People's Republic of China. It's literally all it says. Of course, many people don't know that the spiritual predecessor for this was Authoritarian Surveillance for Dummies, which just says, watch Black Mirror in it. And that is exactly what the Chinese government did. So here's my message to every single member of the Communist Party of China who's ever held political office, and also every single person associated in the production of Sesame credit. Fuck you. Fuck you, you disgusting pieces of subhuman garbage. I hope each and every one of you experiences 1,000 lifetimes of indescribable agony before being violently drowned in Godzilla's radioactive sperm, you absolute fucking cunts. I know that Godzilla's Japanese, but I also know that the Chinese government doesn't like Japan's Western-style government, so that's just a little extra humiliation, because no fucking punishment is sufficient for you. I hope you have to spend the rest of eternity licking the diarrhea out of an old elephant's asshole, all the while having a razor blade covered boa constrictor lodged up your own anus, you reprehensible piss stains. I do hope the Chinese people rise up against you and give you your just desserts. And I really hope that those desserts come from the 2 girls 1 cup buffet, you putrid piles of pig vomit. And Western leaders, don't even think about thinking about it. Because all of the things that I genuinely and wholeheartedly wish upon the Chinese government, we will do to you if you even attempt to curtail our freedoms in this manner. That's all I have to say, really. I'm angry, as you might be able to tell. The Chinese government is shit, communism is shit, Maoism is extra shit also, surveillance is shit, and I love you all. To fade this out, I will leave you with a little art project that I created to express my feelings about the situation. That spit was I spat on purpose. That was I just spat on the Chinese flag that's out of frame. It's not. This didn't happen because I sometimes spit while talking. There's a flag. I'm not going to show you the flag, but trust me, it's there. It's there.
Fuck off, fuck you. Fuck off, fuck you. Fuck off, fuck you. Fuck off, fuck you. Fuck